And there we go. Welcome back to Knights of the Nerds Table. What's up, everyone? My name is EJ, and I'm back with my two boys, Dieter and Josh. Oh my gosh, you gotta go to Dieter first. How you doing, Dieter? You're looking at kind of, Green
Man,
Hill Zone.
absolutely. I'll tell you, I was having a bad day, and then I saw that intro that producer Josh put together, and all of a sudden, I am feeling it. I am happy
You're
to be
feeling
here.
it? Oh, good.
I am feeling it.
That's good.
There was a countdown and
boy.
everything. That was great.
I do what I can.
I know we're putting a little bit more bells and whistles, I guess you would say, on everything. So thank you, Josh, for setting this up. And we're ready to kind of dive in today into one of our favorite characters. Now, this is the first time that we've actually gone off the beaten path a little bit. We usually do Marvel and DC content. We want to explore other fandoms as well that may be kind of akin or people who are watching Marvel and DC might like as well, right? So the first guy we wanted to talk about is a little blue blur who is actually at this point dominating the box office.
Yeah, he is.
Sonic the Hedgehog, who comes out with his second movie, which is very distinct because generally speaking, video game based characters do not have good runs at the box office, do not do well critically, commercially, or with their general fans. So at this point, we have Sonic the Hedgehog who's actually doing a decent job as an IP living outside of the video game genre. By the way, Josh, I forgot to go to you real quick. I know we're live, but how are you doing, my guy?
It's okay. I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. It was a long week last week. I was on call for my day job, obviously.
Yeah.
And it made it very difficult. We had a Sonic. We'll give you guys a little I guess, preview. We have a Sonic deep dive, so to speak, coming up that we'll be releasing very shortly. And I'm very excited for you guys to see that. Dieter did an excellent job, and
It was
I had
not
a lot of
nearly
fun.
as deep as I could have gone. That was me back, man.
But anyways, I had a really good time doing that, but unfortunately wasn't able to get it out when I wanted to.
Yeah.
But here we are doing this live stream. I just want to say hi to Brian. What's up, Brian? Thanks for joining in. And
man,
check
What's going
out
on,
the
Brian?
stream.
Greetings and salutations to you.
I want to remind everybody that I just want to make a point really quick because we are at 59 subscribers right now, and it would be really, really cool if we could bump it to 60. Let's just go ahead and set a goal, all right? For by the end of this stream, which who knows how long we'll ramble on, could be forever. Let's hit 60. Let's get one more subscriber. Hit that 60, a nice round number, and then the next goal will be 69, obviously. So for the memes,
yes,
we can all be like,
and then we'll just stay there forever. I think
correct.
That's the best.
Yeah, and then we'll retire.
Things.
Yes, I think that is the correct way to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that's perfect, Josh. And I'm really excited to jump into this because I suggested this in one of our meetings earlier this year. I really want to talk about Sonic the Hedgehog. For those who don't know, I'm a huge Sonic fan. I've loved everything from his video game adaptations to his Saturday morning cartoons with Jaleel White back in the 90s, early 90s, to Sonic X, to Sonic Boom, and of course the Sonic comic series, which has had several different runs over the past couple of years. He's just been a he's been able to cross over to tons of different types of media. I've really enjoyed the blue blur. Something about him kind of. So I really want to kind of give our Knights of the Nerds Table review of this movie. And we'll kind of go, the first thing we want to do is kind of give people a little bit of a synopsis because this is a spoiler review. So if you haven't seen it yet and you don't want things spoiled, definitely go ahead and after you watch the movie, but definitely go out and see it if you haven't. Would you mind giving a brief synopsis of the movie real quick?
Yeah, definitely. So Sonic 2 takes place approximately 290 some days after the first movie, I think. It starts with Dr. Robotnik, aka Dr. Eggman, still on the mushroom planet where he was trapped. Using the quill from Sonic that he had for the first movie, he designs a device that would allow him to contact other planets. Because for this film, they are really sticking to the idea of Sonic and his friends being extraterrestrials, which I think is really interesting, and I do want to dig into that because that's such a new choice, I think. But Anyways, attempts to make contact, is put in contact with the Echidna tribe, or the remnants of the Echidna tribe, specifically a red, dreadlocked monstrosity of badassness and beauty named Knuckles the Echidna. Quick editorial: his intro is one of the best things of the movie. When he comes through the portal for the first time, it's so freaking cool. But anyways, we go back to Earth. Sonic is getting ready for his first time staying alone at home, but not before he causes some shenaniganry trying to be Batman in Seattle. His pseudo parents / live-in housemates, Tom and, with my apologies to the other character, I believe it's Carrie.
Yeah, I believe it's Carrie as well.
No, forgive me, it is Maddie, not Carrie.
Maddie.
Totally out of it.
We're both wrong.
Tom and Maddie are about to go to Hawaii because James Marsden really wanted to take a Hawaiian vacation. And so
Did he though?
They're going. I'm assuming someone in that cast really, really just wanted to spend some time in Oahu. Because I've only been to Oahu the once, but the resort I stayed at was actually right next to the Four Seasons. So while I'm watching the movie, I'm like, I literally had drinks right there. So they go off on this wedding venture, and Sonic is home alone. I do mean Donut Lord. Sir Bethany III. I do mean Donut Lord indeed. I refer, of course, to the Donut Lord, played by James Marsden himself, an excellent actor who is deeply underrated.
Very much so.
Sonic is home alone and is quickly confronted by Dr. Eggman with the assistance of Knuckles. They beat the crap out of Sonic for a little while in like a weirdly brutal fight for a kid's movie. And then Sonic is rescued by yet another fuzzy anthropomorphic animal, this time Tails, played by Colleen O'Shaughnessy, the only character who is reprising her role from the video games and TV shows, which is just a nice little note. Tails rescues Sonic and explains over the course of a bunch of exposition that Knuckles is the last remaining member of the Echidna tribe, who were opposed to the Owl tribe that Sonic's adoptive mother Longclaw was part of. They had an ongoing conflict over a emerald of immense power called the Master Emerald that resulted in effectively both sides being completely destroyed. Sonic, remembering how great his mother was and wishing to honor her memory, decides to take Tails and go on an adventure to try and find the Master Emerald. First, they need to find the compass that will lead them to the Master Emerald, so they go to a temple in Siberia. Meanwhile, wedding shenanigans are happening. None of it really matters. Sonic and Tails find the compass, but Eggman and Knuckles track them down. A quick note: if you're wondering why Knuckles, a protagonist of the Sonic series, famously a hero, is working for Eggman, Eggman has convinced him that Sonic is an evil bad person because Sonic worked for the Owls. And Knuckles, as we're going to talk about later in this review, is a very simple guy. So he just kind of takes everything at face value. Anyways,
this happens a lot in the Sonic trilogy, by the way. Sonic series.
It fully does. It happens multiple times.
Yeah.
So, Siberia, Eggman and Knuckles attack. We get a nice little snowboarding sequence as Sonic and Tails evade, but unfortunately Tails is ultimately injured. The ensuing battle also causes an avalanche, which means Sonic needs to escape. This is how Tom and Maddie are brought back into the movie. Sonic has lost all of his rings at this point, except for the one that he gave to Tom to let them come back. As we know from the first movie, rings are portals. You can go anywhere that you can imagine. So Sonic and Tails are transported to Hawaii, interrupting Maddie's sister. She is about to be married to Derek Morgan from Criminal Minds. That's a criminal for all of my Criminal Minds fans. If you're here, why?
There's something for them. We got something for them.
I mean, hey, I really do love Criminal Minds. I'm not gonna be mad about it, but anyways, they interrupt the wedding, and it is at this point that we realize that the wedding is actually a complex sting operation, which makes no sense and violates several ethical boundaries. And in fact, Shamar Moore, Derek Morgan, his character, is a member of the Guardians Units of Nations. Which, if you are familiar with Sonic lore, is a deep cut back to the adventure games from the late 90s, early 2000s. They are attempting to capture Sonic, knowing that Sonic has this familial relationship with Tom and Maddie, and now that he's arrived, they do, in fact, capture him. Meanwhile, Knuckles and Eggman, having found the Master Emerald, go to that temple and unearth the Emerald, which causes the requisite big light in the sky that every blockbuster seems to need to have now. Sonic, at this point, deep in his feelings about the injury that Tails suffered in the most recent battle, runs across the water in another, honestly, really unironically cool sequence, and confronts Eggman and Knuckles at the temple. In the ensuing battle, Eggman steals the Master Emerald, and Knuckles finally realizes that he's been duped. He then nearly drowns, but Sonic, despite the fact that Sonic, as in the games, cannot swim, rescues Knuckles, and they form a bit of a partnership. They are shortly thereafter joined by Tails, and the trilogy, or the Trinity, rather, is complete.
Sonic Heroes.
Sonic Heroes, yeah, it's Team Sonic, baby. It's Team Sonic. And don't for a second think that I didn't want to play Team Sonic Heroes after watching this movie. They rush back to Green Hills, which is the town that the first movie was set in, to find Eggman creating a giant robot. Skybeam or nothing. That's right. It's not a good blockbuster if it doesn't have a Skybeam.
Agreed.
There's probably like an analysis video out there somewhere about why Skybeams are so like locked in our mutual
psyche,
subconscious.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's not a conversation for today, but that is a conversation I would love to have. So all this to say, they go back to Green Hill, and Eggman has, using the power of the Master Emerald, built a giant egg robot. This robot does appear to be an homage to the final boss of Sonic the Hedgehog 2, I believe.
Yes.
And it just
Death Battle
wipes
Egg
the floor.
2. Yep.
Yeah, in Death Egg, yeah. It just wipes the floor with Team Sonic. And in the process, Team Sonic gets a few licks in and are able to shatter the Master Emerald. What falls out of the Master Emerald are 7 smaller emeralds.
Infinity Stone. I mean, Chaos Emeralds.
Wait, hang on. Someone remind me later. I need to look up and see which one came first, because it's very tight. Because Infinity Gauntlet was definitely in mid 90s, but I think Sonic may have beaten them to it. Just by
I think
hair.
they did.
Listen. At the end of the day, you have shiny, different colored gems through many different lores. So I don't think it's. I was making a joke, but I don't think it's fair to say that one's copying off the other. And if they are, well, good for them. It works.
Fair. But
or inspired.
Speaking of plagiarism, which is going to be a weirdly recurring theme throughout this review, Sonic then goes Sonic, and defeats Eggman using the power of the Chaos Emeralds. Then everything goes back to normal. Tom and Maddie find that now, in addition to their pseudo-son, Sonic, they now have 2 other children, essentially, and Sonic now has friends that he can really relate to.
Family is rapidly growing.
Exactly. And
we're not just friends, we're family.
Oh,
it's
God.
family.
Vin Diesel's going to come out with an announcement any day now. Sonic has joined the family.
He should be the extra credit scene character.
Well, we got a different extra credit scene character, I think you'll find. A character that we will talk about later on. But there was an end credit scene, and we did get the reveal of one of my favorite characters of all time. And we'll talk about that when we talk about it.
Yeah. So I mean, I think we've all watched this movie in the past 48, 2 to 3 days. So it's kind of fresh in all of our minds. Since we've heard from Deet already a little bit from the synopsis, I wanted to start with you, Josh. What were your thoughts on the movie? How did you feel about it? What did you like?
And before you answer that, Josh, I want to tag on EJ's question here for a second. Correct me if I'm wrong, but you are, of the three of us, far and away the guy with the least experience with Sonic. Is that right?
Absolutely. Yep.
No, Robert got us.
We'll get like further into this. So let's see. Chaos Emeralds appeared in 91. Infinity Gems appeared in 72.
That's right. Ooh. I was assuming that Infinity Gauntlet was their first appearance, but it wasn't, because Jim Starlin has been writing dense cosmic lore for the Marvel Universe for far longer than is appropriate or even necessary.
Well, thank you, Bear. Appreciate your contribution there, helping us out with the show. And actually, for those of you watching, the Bear is actually gonna join us. Robert here is going to join us a little later on in our episode, so I look forward to that.
Nice.
But for now, he's helping out and watching on the sidelines. So getting back to the movie, so first thing I want to say is, for those of you who are watching, who didn't, maybe jumping in now and didn't see the very beginning, I just want to let you all know we are going to be discussing this movie in detail. We are going to get into some spoilers. That being said, this isn't a criticism of the movie, but you pretty much see everything that would be a spoiler in the trailers. Once you actually see the movie and you see how everything fits together, it's great, it makes sense, and I'm not criticizing it for it. I'm just saying, like, if you've seen all the trailers, there's not really much to spoil, honestly. All the cool little Easter eggs and everything you pretty much see. Obviously, Knuckles, you know about that. And I guess the two big spoiler things, we are trying to procrastinate as long as possible before we full send the spoilers, just in case we don't want to ruin anybody's day or night. But we'll get to it. There's really only two spoilers in my mind. But those aside, I think this movie is really good. I think it's better than the first one. I'll just go ahead and throw that out there. We'll get into a little bit more of what worked and what didn't work in each movie, but just overall, I really did enjoy this movie, and I think it did a good job of diving into the lore, giving us some more character development for Sonic and friends. Obviously, more character development for Sonic and character development for these new characters that we just got introduced. I think the choice to go with the actual voice actor and voice acting for Tails since 2014 was awesome. I thought it translated great to the screen, and I thought that she did a really good job of showing depth in the character. Really, I like everybody in this movie other than the humans, so to speak. Not counting the not counting Eggman. Yeah, he doesn't. I mean, he obviously excellent job, but
Jim Carrey's not human. We know that.
You're exactly. He doesn't fall under that category. So again, I rest my case. The humans. I like everybody but the humans in this movie, but we'll get to that a little later. So yeah, I'll go ahead and kick it back to you, EJ, for some of your general thoughts on the film.
Yeah. So I want to really first of all say that I really did enjoy most of the film. Now, I know people gave me a little bit of slack for this, but my friend that one felt the same way. I did feel like the first film was a better movie overall, but I like the elements in this film a little bit better. So, for instance, this film goes way more Sonic-y than the first film did. The first film was just kind of the classic buddies comedy, road trip type of feel to it. They even kind of mock this a little bit, or parody this when he says, no, this is not going to be a fun little road trip. That was a nod to saying, hey, this is what this movie is really trying to do. So it hits a lot of the familiar beats of what those types of movies do. This movie is way more Sonic-y, right? So the thing I like the most is the Easter eggs. Now, I think that when they went to Siberia, that was a kind of a nod off to the ice caps over in, was it Sonic?
Oh, yeah, that was 100% a nod to ice caps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then even when he was underwater one time, there was an air bubble that came up that he just went sucked it in. And if you see Sonic games when he's underwater, he ends up having to take air bubbles to kind of
the
keep
same thing,
afloat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then he almost drowned a couple of times, establishing that he doesn't swim. It's because the creator of Sonic, for some reason, thought the hedgehogs couldn't swim. And so from that point on, he put it in his games, even though that's not true. In real life, hedgehogs can swim. But just a little nature fact for you. Yeah. So that's not true, but the creator thought they didn't. So it's a mistake that's already in there at this point. But yeah, the Easter eggs in this movie were really fun. I really enjoyed them. I thought some of the pacing was a little bit off, but it is what it is. I mean, it's a movie that has supposed to appeal to fans, but also have a fairly younger audience. I'm not going to criticize it too much on that. What I also really enjoyed was the characters. I think all the characters played very well. We had Idris Elba kind of bringing the Knuckles vibe, and Knuckles is just basically Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like as a character, I noticed that right off the bat. They were leaning kind of hard into that. Oh, I see Dieter thinking about it. Yeah, you know it. Come on. I'm not wrong.
We'll get into that some more, but like
I think they're different recipes.
Okay, but they have very similar takes on it. Colin does a great job as Tails. She's done for a long time. I mean, I think the Tails as a voice actor has a very interesting history. Like even from the 90s, he was played by a majority of young male actors. And then finally in the Sonic X series, he began to be played by an adult female. And people have kind of followed that track of that voice ever since. I think Colin has actually perfected it at this point, and she's gotten to the point where I just see her as the Tails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even the human characters weren't necessarily as grating as it could have been. I think James Marsden's character is very complimentary to Sonic. It shows that Sonic has a full life cycle, right? So he's at this point coming to the point where he's about to be the hero that we know him as. So it's a little bit deconstructionist to a certain extent, right? So they want him to kind of become the more adult hero that he's going to be. The only other thing I'll add in there that I really did like was that Tails had an arc as well, whereas he was basically a fanboy of Sonic, which is very much similar to the lore, right? And then he began to actually be a character that's on the ground, actually fights. And that's an arc that you see in Sonic Adventure 1, if you remember, Dieter, right? Where Tails says to himself, I can't always be relying on Sonic to do everything. I need to start stepping into my own. I need to start becoming my own character and being able to take care of myself. And that was something that I saw that was influenced in this film. I really did enjoy that. So overall, I really did like this film, but I felt that Sonic 1 was just a little bit more enjoyable. Maybe that's just my expectations, and I expected more out of this film than I expected out of Sonic 1, but that was my initial thought process. Go ahead, Dieter.
So we'll go ahead and jump into the next section here, I guess, because EJ kind of dove in here. So you can give us your general thoughts, and then we'll go into like what worked in the movie, and really talk about the positive parts of the movie, and then we can start to get into some of the negative stuff and address Brian's question that I popped up on the screen there a minute ago. But go ahead.
I definitely have some thoughts about that. For anyone who didn't see, Brian, one of our viewers, and one of the lovely gents over at the Bear and the Beard podcast, mentioned an individual that I'm not familiar with, Ryan Georges. I'm not familiar with that person's work.
Yeah, he has a YouTube channel where basically he does like something like Honest Trailers used to do, and makes a joke about a movie and just parodizing it. Like he'll basically have an idea where a screenwriter or a director will come to a studio and pitch an idea for a movie. And he'll do it in a satirical kind of funny way. So I like his stuff quite a bit.
Dope. Apparently this person made a joke about the human drama being unnecessary to the film. That is something I would love to explore with you guys, because I have some complicated thoughts regarding the humans, for sure.
All right, well then we'll just go ahead and jump right into it.
All right,
answer the question.
We're doing it live. We're doing it live.
I love it.
So in answer to the question, then, here's my hot take. Was the human drama unnecessary to the plot? Ultimately, I think it was. But what I think makes it interesting is I think it didn't have to be. It did feel, and I think this is kind of what EJ was touching on, that this movie was not as cohesive as the first Sonic was. It felt like it wanted to be two movies. It wanted to do the grand sweeping adventure with Sonic and Tails meeting Knuckles and fighting Eggman and all of that, like really high concept Sonic the Hedgehog adaptation stuff, which is great. But it also really wanted to tell the story of a person who has found their place, but hasn't found their place in that place yet. Because Sonic, from where we see him, really has not had a lot of opportunity to develop, which is great. He's barely settled into Green Hills, and he's still barely settled into living with Tom and Maddie. So I think there is a really honest core to the parts of the story regarding Tom and Maddie's relationship to Sonic, and Sonic coming to see them as family as opposed to just basically his roommates. As for all the nonsense with the wedding, that was completely superfluous and pointless. Did I laugh? Yes. Would I be sad if it wasn't in there? Maybe. Completely superfluous. But the Tom and Maddie stuff, there was something good there.
I'll agree. So the human aspect, I was speaking a little strongly and a little generally. Yes, a lot of the human parts and scenes are kind of ridiculous. It's just the wedding scene in particular. I get the setup. They needed to get rid of the parents for, so that we could have the Home Alone moment and the adventure with Tails and everything. You need to get rid of the grown-ups and get them off on some side quest, right? So I understand the motivation, but I think there could have been better delivery, and the scenes just they come across as like super cheesy to me, and I don't mind some feats, but they just lay it on a little too thick, and it gets worse and worse and worse. And then the whole Bridezilla go-kart skirting all over the place and crashing into speakers and exploding, and the wedding cake blows up when she shoots it. It's ridiculous. And like, it is funny. I giggle too, but it's more of like this is just absolutely ridiculous, which is okay, because at the end
can we go back to Sonic now?
This is supposed to be a video game movie, which is why it's okay. But I think it could have been done better, and I think if it wasn't done at all, if they just found something, like, we didn't really even need to keep up with them during the movie. Honestly, I think if they were just kind of off in their own worlds and then showed up later, or like. Yeah. There was like the occasional check-in
with Tom and Shamar Moore, whose character's name I don't remember and I don't care about. There's just this weird moment where they're like playing baseball, and Shamar Moore takes the time to like tell James Marsden that he's not ripped enough, which is so ridiculous to me, because in that scene you see Marsden like getting
his muscles
and waving his arms, and you realize that the man has been a trained dancer for about as long as God's been around, and he's freaking ripped.
Yeah, they intentionally keep his shirt on for that scene. They're playing beach volleyball and everybody else has got their shirt off but him. There's a reason for that.
And
Brian says it sounds like it seemed very commercial. Like, I will say, it was definitely an advertisement for Oahu tourism for sure.
I agree. It just felt like that was the studio. Maybe it was not just it just seemed like it was just stuff they were just checking off the list of things to do. The other things I didn't necessarily enjoy as much. I know people like the scenes where they come in to like a strange place and they're at a bar, and is those weird comic feelings. But I didn't need that as much. And the reason why is we'd already done that in the first movie. I thought it was funnier in the first movie. I legitimately thought it was funnier. I would have much rather them use that time instead of just doing a retread, just like call back to the other times, to just tell some more lore and just have some more exposition. Like, I think that would have been much more interesting than just doing a redo and sing Sonic Dance to Bruno Mars. And that leads into my other slight complaint to this. I know this is what the studio wants to. I know that people love to do this, but Sonic doesn't need to dance to random pop songs or rock songs. He has his own music library they should have utilized at this point. The fact that there's 2 Sonic movies out there, there's not been one Crush 40 appearance,
not even a single remix, Crush 40 track,
even a remix. It's kind of disappointing. Do you feel where I'm coming from, Dieter? Like, even a remix version.
I do. On one hand, like, I get it. Like, when the Supersonic scene was happening, I immediately, in my head, like, my nostalgia brain switched on, and I was like, we should be hearing Crush 40 right now.
Yeah.
However, I do think that is purely nostalgia brain. I think in reality, and EJ, you know this probably better than most, Sonic for his entire lifetime has been intrinsically connected to pop music.
True.
Famously, Michael Jackson was one of the producers on Sonic 3's music before he stepped out for a variety of reasons that we're not going to get into right now. But it goes beyond that. The original composer of Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is a fairly famous pop singer and pop composer in Japan. And even as far into today as Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed featured a title track that was sung by the lead singer of, I believe it was the Bare Naked Ladies?
No, Bowling for Soup.
Bowling for Soup. It was Bowling for Soup.
Jarrett Reddick from Bowling for Soup, yep.
So there was a bit of like kind of Alvin and the Chipmunks to some of those dance numbers and that sort of thing. But I do think there is a point where with Sonic it is slightly forgivable because he's so tied to pop music.
Sure. And again, this is just me as a fan, I guess. This is our artistic choice, not necessarily a bad choice, but I just feel like I would like to sing, because we've already heard Green Hill Zone. They've done that like as a ringtone on Tom's phone. That was fun. But I felt like, there could have even been remixes of older songs. Like you could have done an Ice Cap remix as he's just going down there. You know what I mean? Like it didn't have to be straight from the games, but I would have loved to have more of a connection to Sonic's music library than these movies have had so far.
Yeah, absolutely. I want to touch real quick. Firstly, shout out to my friend Logan, who is in our Facebook chat right now. Asking us questions. Logan, I know you have so many things that you do on a daily basis, so thank you for taking the time to hang out with us for a hot second. I think that's a really interesting question. He says, do you think there'd be a contingent of fans that would, in turn, complain if we didn't keep up with the human subplot throughout?
Yes, there's always someone that'll complain. You can't make everybody happy. That's an easy yes.
That is
you
true.
Can elaborate, but yes.
Yeah, and I mean, here's the thing. Ultimate in hypocrisy. If there was less James Marsden on my screen, I think I would be one of those people complaining because I'm a huge James Marsden fan.
For his acting.
Yes.
Strictly.
The man was Cyclops.
He's also in the HBO series. What's it called? The one with cowboys in it. I can't remember the name right off.
The one with cowboys in it.
Anthony Hopkins is in it. I forget. Oh, Westworld. Yeah, he does a really good job in that as well. He also
cuckolded Superman in that one movie that no one
he's
ever
always
talks about anymore.
Yeah, Brandon Reeves. Yep.
Brandon Routh. Yeah. But
Routh, right.
In answer to Logan's question, I do kind of wonder if there would be really any serious complaints because when you think about the core audience for this movie, is going to be people who are either bringing their kids, in which case the kids are the focus of what you're trying to create your film for. And the kids definitely, I don't think, care about Tom and Maddie and Rachel. They're just like, okay, hurry up. I want to see Sonic skate down the hill. And the other major contingent of people who are going to see this film are people like us, people who have a nostalgic connection to Sonic and who grew up playing his games. And again, those people don't care about Tom and Maddie and Rachel any more than people cared about Chris in Sonic X. I'm sure they have a couple of fans, and certainly all of the actors involved in those scenes are putting in their best work. I don't think there's a single actor in this movie who's not doing their best work. But I also don't think people would complain. And you'd get the movie down to a tight 90, which the tight 90 is a lost art at this point in film, it seems like.
Venom 2 had it.
Yes.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah. So I'll just jump in really quick here and give my final thoughts on the movie. Then we can each give our rating of the movie. We can move on to some of the other subjects that we want to talk about.
Yeah.
We got our guest ready and waiting to hop on. So my final thoughts are just that, again, I really did enjoy it. I think Idris Elba is probably like my sleeper pick, where I heard some people criticizing and talking about, oh, it's just Drax, or saying that they didn't really like the voice, or that sometimes it felt forced or whatever. But I don't know. I loved every part of it. Every time Knuckles was on screen, I was like, heck yeah, let's go.
So
and I thought Idris Elba did amazing. I mean, I literally don't have a single complaint about his performance or about how Knuckles in general looked, how he was, his character. I think it made sense. I think his motivations were clear, and they did a really good job of communicating and showing the transition of him working with and trusting Eggman, and then realizing, and it's not just as simple as like, oh, this superior being Eggman just duped him. It's just, Dieter alluded to this earlier, I believe, where it's just the man made him a promise. He said, I'm going to get you to Earth, I'm going to get you to Sonic, and he followed through on that. And then again, like when he's falling off the ledge and they have the little joke where he's like, oh, you think these robots could, I will obliterate you. Oh, there's steps. Oh, okay, yeah. And then he walks up. So it's like he had multiple examples of Eggman being on his side, of Dr. Robotnik like helping him. He didn't realize that he was helping him for his own benefit and just to get, what he wanted in the emeralds. But
it was a gentleman's agreement.
It makes sense. He took it at
they power bumped on or something.
They shook hands and he like dislocated a bunch of his fingers.
Crushed his hand.
But anyways, I really enjoyed it. And I just really wanted to highlight Knuckles because I think that was my favorite part. And as far as like the things I didn't like, we pretty much touched on all of that. There's a few parts that are a little iffy, some scenes that could have been trimmed up and done a little differently and maybe made it a little better overall. But as far as like a video game movie and delivering on Sonic and giving us Sonic lore and Sonic Easter eggs, like awesome job. So I mean, again, I really can't complain. So let's go ahead and jump right into our ratings here, and we can start off with EJ. EJ, we can go ahead and do your rating first, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I would give this a strong 7.5. I really enjoy all the
strong 7.5.
Wait, whoa! When did we move to a 10-point scale? I thought we were on a 5-point scale here.
Oh no, we've been doing a 10-point scale for a while, Dieter.
I did not miss that. I totally missed that memo.
Yeah, clearly.
So I'm giving it 7.5.
Well, damn.
Because let me just explain really quick. We updated because I feel like 1 out of 5 doesn't give you enough range, and I feel like I am always going to make everything a 5, basically, because I feel like we needed more numbers to work with. Okay, the math works out better.
If it makes everyone else happy, I'm not gonna.
If it makes you happy,
so adjust accordingly. We'll do your rating last while you crunch your numbers.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, 7.5, man. I mean, I think that, like you guys already said, like there's a lot of Sonic lore that was put in there, which was really nice to see. And the fact that seems like the creator of this movie rather, wasn't too ashamed to embrace the video game roots, and not only had callbacks to video games, but I feel like this whole concept of Sonic being around humans is very reminiscent of Sonic X. Like, let's be honest. In Sonic X, the cartoon, Sonic was transported from his world via rings, if I'm not mistaken, or I can't remember how it was. It was like some type of fusion thing.
It's been so long.
Who knows, right? Whereas in that cartoon, he went to a human world and he kind of had that fish out of water type of storyline, right? Where Eggman and him were implanted in this world and they were walking around. So not only have they embraced the video game lore, but they've also embraced the cartoon lore as well, which I've really enjoyed. Jean-Ralphio, as I'll always call him, did a really great job voicing him. He has a very unique take to Sonic that I don't really compare to the other guys because they have very different jobs and what they want to do, and they have a very different Sonic they want to portray on the large screen. The editing was choppy a little bit. There are a couple scenes there, like we all admitted, that could have been cut down, But overall, this was a fun experience. I can't wait. The biggest plus this movie has is the amount of world building that it's about to do. Like the fact that we're going to have another character in this final season, I can't wait to talk about later on. And I think Knuckles is getting a spin-off story as well. We already have Sonic 3 in the works. Yes, Knuckles is getting a spin-off TV show.
We'll see.
We'll get to the.
Hey,
this is Paramount, not Warner Bros. Don't worry about it.
No, it's not the studio I'm worried about.
Shots fired. I'll go ahead and give my rating here. I'm gonna give it an 8. I don't know. I'd have to look back on what I've rated some of the other things. I say this, I feel like every time. I feel like I'm really nice. It's really hard for me to like criticize these films too much because I do really enjoy them. We'll see what happens. I'm going to try and slug through Morbius at some point and maybe I'll give that an awful rating because everybody else is, but we'll see. Maybe I'll end up liking it. So I'm going to give it an 8. I just wanted to point out, I did really enjoy the Parks and Rec callback that this movie actually had. We actually had Schwartz, the worst, that whole little thing. Yeah. So that is 1,000% Jean-Ralphio on Parks and Rec. And I love that they added that little tidbit in there for those Parks and Rec people. So again, it's an 8 for me. I don't really have much to complain about here. So Dieter, what about you?
So using this newfangled 10-point scale that y'all are forcing on me, it's a 7. It's a solid 7. This movie, and I don't say 7 in that this movie is bad. This movie's popcorn. This movie's candy. It has no nutritional value, but that doesn't mean it's not enjoyable. It doesn't mean I'm not going to watch it again.
Exactly.
It's fun, and it's designed to be fun. Its internal logic sure is something else, but at the same time, I think it does deserve a lot of credit for the individuals responsible for the screenplay and the director and the actors of the anthropomorphic characters. I feel like really got the characters. Now, I make this point a little bit in my upcoming Sonic video that we're working on for the channel. Sonic characters are not complex. They never have been. They don't have to be. They're kids' video game characters, but they are always consistent. Sonic is always striving for independence. Tails is always searching to be greater than he is while fighting his own inferiority. And Knuckles, who I think is the high point of this movie, who I think they got better than at this point even Sonic Team understands the character, is
I agree.
A warrior. He's basically Worf from Star Trek The Next Generation. He's not stupid. He's actually in battle, his strategy tends to be some of the best of any of the characters, but he is naive and he's simple, and they made a point to illustrate the character here in a way that isn't like what you would normally see from a naive character. Normally when a character is naive, they act really ditzy, and that's kind of your code that this person is way too trusting. And Knuckles never really drops the seriousness. Even in the final scene when they're playing baseball, he is still taking everything seriously. And he's not... We laugh at him because obviously he's taking a game of baseball seriously, but it never feels like the movie looks down on him for doing that. And I think
they're not
the games
insulting him for it.
Exactly. They're just good-natured about it because that's just Knuckles. And I think that's something that recently a lot of the Sonic games have forgotten about Knuckles, and instead they treat him as a dumb punchline.
There's whole video essays about this, Dieter, and I agree with you. From 2010 on, when they had that revamp of the Sonic writers and the Sonic voice actors, they really started to dumb Knuckles down to make him more of a dumb jock, which that's not who Knuckles is. Knuckles is not a dumb jock, you know? He's more than that.
Which I will say, as a card-carrying critter, I do have to say, Travis Willingham does do an excellent job, but I do think the writing doesn't always serve the character in the way that it did for this movie. So, yeah, the human stuff was superfluous and just cotton candy fluff. The actual adventure is fun and enjoyable, but it's not... we're not going to learn anything new about ourselves from this movie, but we are definitely going to have fun with this movie. And sometimes that's all you want.
All right. Well, let's bring in the bear into our show. Welcome.
What's going on, my brothers in nerdy?
How's it going?
All right, so I've been watching the live stream, obviously.
Thank you.
I haven't seen the movie, but I feel like y'all have done a great job of reviewing it. Like you said, if you've seen the trailer, nothing in this is spoilers, and I completely agree. I was gonna go see it anyway, or I might wait to stream it just because I have 4 kids. I can't drag them all to the theater. So,
for what it's worth, I think they'll really like it.
Oh no, they loved the first one, but the point is, I can't afford to have all 4 of them go to the theater.
It gets expensive,
right?
Coming from a man with a large family, yes.
So I did not know that Shamar Moore was in this. So Dieter, I completely agree. A huge Criminal Minds fan. Having him with the Cyclops actor is one step closer to our fan casting that we did like 2 or 3 episodes ago on our channel, where I think 2 of us actually cast Shamar Moore for something in the MCU moving forward. So we're getting there. We're getting there. So we also cast, or at least I did, Spencer Reed as well. So huge Criminal Minds.
Oh yeah, Matthew Gray Gubler.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. I have been a fan of Sonic as long as I can remember.
Let's go. My man.
I loved as soon as the photo dropped and it looked just like the cartridge for Sonic 2. I was already enthralled. I was like, oh, this is amazing. And I just want to use your platform just for 1 second to say, why is Sonic the first video game movie we're getting that's done correctly? I'm not complaining that it's the first one, but I'm asking why.
I think
He's
my first
but not the one we deserve,
answer,
I guess.
The first immediate answer that I have is CGI. And I was having this discussion with a friend of mine, and we were talking about how far CGI has come and how different it is today. And you look at movies like this or Shang-Chi that really take CGI to like a level of like Shang-Chi, especially where it's like, this is beautiful, like this is artistic, this is just gorgeous to look at. It's not just like that's cool that you could do that. It's more of like, no, I'm enthralled by this artwork. And I think
not
that
Matrix where everything's drenched in green.
Yes, yeah. And I think it's we're at a point now where a lot of things are on the table due to the where technology is at in film and in CGI that just weren't on the table. And I think that, like, just look at what Sonic looked like originally. That's one thing that this whole entire franchise has done right from the beginning is they've listened to the fans. The fans were like, hell no. Right. What the heck is that? That is terrifying. Don't ever do that again. And they were like, okay, all right, we screwed up.
Got rewarded in I guess Paramount history at this point, because it's like it cost them so much money to go back and fix it, but all the fans were like, but if you fix it, we will come out to the theaters, we will watch it. And now the second one is, I mean, it's beaten Morbius, which geez, like I haven't seen it yet either, but that is like an established character in comic book lore, especially for Spider-Man. You would think the two would be having a way tougher fight, but Sonic 2, which I give a lot of credit to Jim Carrey too. And I know y'all were talking about the human drama part of it. If any human character in these 2 movies, other than Jim Carrey, is your favorite character in these movies, you missed the point of these movies. So Jim Carrey can be your favorite because he is the cartoonish Dr. Robotnik. Like, that is okay. So, yeah.
EJ, let's kick it to you for a minute. I want you to check out Brian's question here, and I'm curious what you think about what he has to ask here.
Yeah, I think it had just the right amount. Like, Jim Carrey is by far one of my favorite actors. Like, I really do enjoy every time I see him, on the screen. I like the evolution of Jim Carrey in this movie. Well, in this series in general right now, where they came from a very original design for his look. And as the series has progressed, you've seen him kind of grow more into the chubbier, crazy mustache, Papa's got a new stash, type, type of character, right? So I like that he's rambunctious. The funny thing is that in the video game series, they've actually had one guy, Mike Pollock, who's voiced Eggman since the Four Kids recasting in 2004. He's done the Sonic X series. He's also done Sonic Boom. Like, he's just been that voice character for about 20 years now, almost 20 years. And it's been hard to see anyone else do that voice and do him. So Jim Carrey is really brought into a character that is very much so different from the Robotnik in the video games and other media, but at the same time, kind of as well, with his look totally evolving into what we see now. So I think it was a great idea for him to make it his own. And again, I think the Bear, you hit that right on the head. I mean, if he's not your favorite human character, then what are you doing? I mean, I don't see any Tom stands in here.
Yeah. So Bear, I'm going to kick it back to you here for a couple of comments from your co-host here.
Brucey's Mayo, my guy. Yeah, Mayo Brucey is my dude.
So this one here too.
Would the first movie have been good without the change? That's one of those Zack Snyder questions. We don't know. We may never know.
Release the original Sonic cut.
I don't. In this case, I don't want to know. I'm happy with what we got.
Right. If the lines were all delivered the same, and my only thing is, I would have watched it. I can say that, but at the same time, like, his eyes have always been very expressive. Sonic from the first video game, it's the standing there waiting on you to move the controller.
Yeah,
and he's got that one eye bigger than the other, looking at you like, you're wasting my time here. You know, I got to go fast. So, and and to the other point he made, he can't see a reality where a movie could do without Jim Carrey. Kick-Ass 2, I think, didn't need Jim Carrey in it at all, since he now says he didn't want to be in it, but he did it anyway. That's the only film I know of that could have done with less Jim Carrey, because then Jim Carrey would have been happier, I feel like. But that's neither here nor there. I like that movie too.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys a question, because I think one of the things we wanted to get in here, and we finally have to reveal this, right? So we got to talk about that end scene, guys. That credit end scene. I know that you haven't seen it yet, but we got to kind of soak in this. So at the very end, the I guess the army guy, I don't know exactly what his character name is, announced that they had
Army guy number 5.
Army guy number 5, as far as I'm
Army
concerned.
Commander guy.
Army Commando guy. Again, the humans, not that important, guys. But he announced that they had found Project Shadow, which is hinting to the Sonic's other rival, Shadow the Hedgehog. We get a glimpse of our friend Shadow the Hedgehog, which is Sonic's rival. Now, obviously, we're all big Shadow fans. Even some of us may play Shadow the Hedgehog that came out back in 2003-ish, 2004-ish as a guilty pleasure, even though the game is not very good.
For you, it wasn't guilty.
Wait, Shadow? You mean the Red Hood of the Shadow of the Sonic universe, right?
Where's that damn Chaos Emerald? That's like a
all
meme,
the
basically.
E10 plus swearing you could shake a stick at.
Right.
Basically, that game was just them trying to kind of get some Call of Duty fans in and Halo fans, and trying their hardest to make Sonic an edgelord, but didn't necessarily work out. But regardless, we still love Shadow here, and I can't wait to see what he brings to the screen. So with that in mind, I want to see who you guys, celebrity or whatever voice actor, dream casting for the Shadow role would be. Bear, you're the guest. Go, my guy.
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan.
Michael B. Jordan. I mean, I can't think of anyone else to play him. The voice, the cool, suave, sophisticatedness. He did that one action film. I've seen bits of it, but I can't remember the name of it. That Tom Clancy film. Yeah, Michael B. Jordan, easy. Because if Sonic is the hero, then he needs a Killmonger-esque kind of character, and who better than Killmonger himself?
That was one I didn't see coming. And I love that you gave that some thought. No, Barry, that's like kudos for you on that. Dieter, what do you think, man? Celebrity voice actor, go. It doesn't have to be well known either. It could be whoever you want.
No, like I've been struggling with this, because I was trying to think of in a celebrity sphere, which that seems to be kind of the move. I apologize, guys, for my screen. I'm having some lighting issues over here. work to fix that in the future.
He's trying to phase out of Green Hill Zone.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's melting away Infinity War style.
The cartridge is corrupted.
It's great. It's great. You gotta love it. But anyways, we're gonna ignore the fact that slowly time is being eaten away here in Orlando, Florida, and yeah, I've been struggling with this question because the Sonic movies have, with the exception of Colleen O'Shaughnessy, aired on the side of recognizable names over character actors and that sort of thing. To that end, I am of the opinion that they should forego that and operate using voice actors, people who really trained for that and frankly deserve the spotlight for the incredible amount of hard work that they do. Mm-hmm. Voice acting is a very, very difficult profession by all accounts. Lord knows it's not something I'd ever be able to do. And it did a little bit tweak me to see Colleen O'Shaughnessy's name so far down on the credits compared to Schwartz and Elba. To that end, I mean, there are plenty of voice actors that I wouldn't mind seeing play Shadow the Hedgehog. You've got to have kind of a higher voice, but a little bit of rasp to it. That's how I always picture Shadow, because he is smaller, but he's got, angst. I think very possibly Liam O'Brien, who played Gaara of the Sands in Naruto. And of course, again, card-carrying Critter is a member of the cast of Critical Role. I think he has a lot of potential there. I think he could do some really interesting stuff with that. In the same vein of Critical Role stuff, I would not mind seeing Taliesin Jaffe from Critical Role take a snap at it, but he might be a little bit... I don't know if his register can go quite as high as I would want it. I think that's where I'm kind of going with it. Oh, I know. Oh, so much angst. Yep, I love it. I was gonna say, Logan just messaged us again. Troy Baker would be
actually, Troy Baker already plays someone in the Sonic universe. He plays Espio. He does. So again, I'm a voice actor nerd. I know this stuff right off the top of my head. So yeah, so he's already known in the Sonic universe, Logan, which is very interesting. Now, Espio doesn't get a lot of screen time at all. He's a minor character. You just see him in the Olympic Games and stuff like that. But yes, Troy Baker has done a fantastic job. Josh, you would know him because he was the Joker in one of the Arkham series, in the younger version of the Joker.
Arkham Origins, yeah.
Arkham Origins, which is interesting because in that one, Roger Craig Smith, who's now the voice actor of Sonic now, plays Batman. So you have two very interesting ones there. But go ahead, Josh. I want to give you a chance to get a stab at this, and I'll end it out.
I do want to, go ahead. Before Josh goes, since I know Logan is still watching, I do want to bring up one thing that'll just give him a little bit of a kick. I do think there is a professional wrestler currently signed to All Elite Wrestling who goes by the name of Darby Allin, who is basically the Shadow the Hedgehog of wrestling. And I do kind of want to see, I don't know if I want to see a whole movie with him, but like an animated short of Darby Allin doing Shadow the Hedgehog, I think would be really fun.
Love it.
All right. That's for me because none of y'all are wrestling fans. Go Josh.
Go, Josh.
So this might sound like a little weird. Sorry, I'm trying to work on something in the background here, just so that I can bring it up.
Do you want me to go first?
I do. Yeah, go ahead and go first because I'm cooking something up here.
Okay, sounds good. So Shadow is a character that I've loved for the longest time, and I would say he's my second or third favorite Sonic character of all time. Originally, back in the Sonic Adventure 2 series, he was played by English actor David Humphrey. You're not even worthy to be my faker, or something like that, So he was kind of that high pitch, and
you started
kind of
so
around
strong there, bud.
I know. I forgot the line. Then in the 4Kids era, he had Sonic X voice actor Jason Griffith, who voiced Sonic and Shadow during this era. He gave us the Shadow the Hedgehog game. I think Jason Griffith did become, at least in the video games, the classic version for Shadow that most people think of, to be honest. He kind of went deeper and a little bit more intense. I'm Shadow the Hedgehog. Kind of like that, right? And then now you have Kirk Thornton, which is an established voice actor, but I don't like his shadow. To be honest, I prefer David Humphrey and Jason Griffith. Now, if we were going to go the route that Dieter was talking about and say, hey, let's bring back someone who has been in the video games before, I think Jason Griffith as Shadow would be very interesting. And for people who don't know this, right now there's a person on YouTube, I forget her name right offhand, but she's doing a fan Sonic radio series called Sonic R. And she was able in that time to bring back a lot of the voice actors of former eras. She brought back Ryan Drummond, the original voice actor of Sonic, to play Sonic. She played Tails herself. And then she brought back, which was so great, she brought back Jason Griffith, who voiced Sonic in this is the second voice actor of Sonic, but also played Shadow, to play Shadow while Ryan Drummond played Sonic, which was kind of an epic moment for Sonic fans, as you can imagine, because you can hear these two voices that you're very familiar from two separate eras. She also brought back David Humphrey to play I think Knuckles. She brought back like all these old voice actors, even Amy Rose's character, Amy Palette. No, maybe that was Tails. I forget who Amy Rose's voice actress was, but she came back as well for the series. And I don't know, something about that radio series like really rejuvenated me to that sound. I think Jason Griffith would be an interesting choice to go if they were going to go from old voice actors. However, if you're going to go the celebrity route, I mean, there's a lot of good ones. I'm going to be a little bit basic here, but I think Keanu Reeves could be interesting. I think he would be a very interesting Shadow.
Oh, I like that.
That would be a revelation. Oh my God.
Yeah, you guys feel me on this?
This man.
I'm with you. That's a good answer.
Yeah, no, I think that would just be very interesting. And I'm going to give a third one out there just because I can. We're talking Batman. I think Kevin Conroy would do a great Shadow.
Oh.
Like, I know like he's known for his Batman, but think of it for a second.
No, he's actually a surprisingly versatile voice actor.
Oh, yeah.
Batman.
Yeah. Like, if you're talking about established voice actors, I know Jason Griffith is more from the 4Kids, like the anime era. So if you don't want that, like, yeah, I think Kevin Conroy would do an excellent job as a Shadow.
My one thing with him is I don't know if he would be able to bring that kind of like punk edge that Shadow traditionally has. I don't get me wrong, there is absolutely a world in which I would love to see that, but I'm so curious about that in a way that I'm not fully comfortable with.
Those are three I thought of, but Keanu Reeves was the one I was most comfortable with. I was like, that just seems like it makes so much sense.
That could be really cool. Yeah.
And if you're bringing in names like Idris Elba, why not? Bring Keanu Reeves as well. Looks fair. Like most. Yeah, Josh, what do you think, my guy?
So this is a little odd, but I'm gonna go with it, and I'm curious to see what you guys think. So I would really like to see Big the Cat cast, and I would really like to see this gentleman play. I think. Speaking of Parks and Rec, right? You got the connection there with Ben Schwartz, but I think just hearing Ron Swanson's sweet undertones would just really do it for me for Big the Cat. So that is what I would like to see happen.
Well, honestly, if Paramount can make Big work, because I have so many issues with Big because the way he's voiced. The way he's voiced feels
annoying.
Get that. Keanu, get off.
Sorry, I'm having a lot of fun yet again.
You know what really annoys me is there is a picture out there, which we are not going to share with our audience, but Logan knows what I'm talking about. There's a picture out there of me standing in a pool and holding my shorts up that makes me look exactly like that picture of Keanu. And I'm really mad that you brought that up.
Oh no, it's all good. See, I just do a little Photoshop here, and your face is on this real easy. Take me about 2 minutes.
EJ, aren't you supposed to be hosting this? You've lost control of this stream.
I'm sorry. I apologize. Man. It's all my fault. I do want to give a shout out to Logan who's been watching. Thanks, man. And his response has been funny. Right, yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to judge Keanu's voice acting skills as Batman in the Pet series or whatever. I don't know what it's called, the superhero pets or whatever.
The League of Super Pets or whatever.
Yeah.
So, and like I said, I haven't seen the film, and so y'all telling me that Shadow shows up at the end, that's a revelation. Like I said, I'm gonna go see it anyway. But
it's literally for like 2 seconds,
right?
And it is so easy to predict.
But they don't do that bullshit thing of like showing us a file that says Project Shadow. No,
right.
We get to see the full character model, and
you do actually see Shadow. Which is cool.
See, as much as I love Shadow, that actually disappoints me a little bit, and I'll tell you why. Because Shadow is of the character list with Big the Cat and Amy Rose, characters from the newer video games where the story branches off. If they were following the video games like Sonic 2, which this was Sonic 2, I wanted them. I was really hoping we were going to get more into the first Sonic storyline before it diverged off, and we had all these other characters, the Robo Sonic, the
Metal Sonic,
Metal Sonic, Sally, the princess of the animal humanoid things, whatever.
Back in the old cartoons,
right? Yeah. In the old like before, it was after the original cartoon where it was just all the comic booky kind of looking stuff, very cartoonish.
Very interesting story on that
one. Yeah. Then they did that one where it's like her father, the king, got turned into a robot or something.
Yeah.
And Sonic needed the Chaos Emeralds to turn him back, and then they branched off into this other storyline where it's like, here's Amy, here's Shadow, here's like all these other characters, Silver, and all these other characters. They're all great characters, don't get me wrong. But I was really hoping we get that story first. The Metal Sonic, Robotnik taking over, and then he changes his name to Eggman, and all these other characters come out. If they did that, they'd have at least 10 movies worth of material.
That would be dope.
Yeah.
I am not sure that Paramount can do that. Because Sally originated, I believe, in Sonic SatAM.
Yes.
But she was also a part of the Archie Comics Sonic the Hedgehog. And now is probably a good time to talk about this. I don't think Paramount wants to touch the Archie Comics Sonic with a 10-foot pole, because if you touch the Archie Comics Sonic, that means one way or another you're probably going to end up having to deal with Ken Penders. Is anyone here in the stream familiar with Ken Penders?
I'm not. You're going to be teaching me something.
All right, kids.
I learn something new every time I'm on y'all's shows, so
buckle up. So before we get started, for the purposes of this portion of the stream, assume that everything I am about to say has the phrase "allegedly" in front of it. Allegedly. Yep. We're going full Squirrely Dan here, kids. So back in the 90s, I've broken the bear.
I love the fact that you say we're going full Squirrely Dan here, kids, because kids should not know what that reference is at all.
So yeah, let's talk about Ken Penders. So Archie Comics had the rights to Sonic the Hedgehog for a very, very long period of time. Anyone who spent any time looking at Sonic's ancillary material outside of the games now knows that Sonic is now with IDW. But prior to that, from 1990-something to the late 2010s, Archie Comics was in charge of publishing Sonic. The reason I know this is because I actually used to subscribe to Sonic the Hedgehog comics. That was the one monthly. Get that off the screen. Allegedly, that was the one comic that I was subscribed to as a kid. Like, I'd pick up other ones, but that was the one I would read. And for the longest time, Sonic the Hedgehog was written and pretty much creatively powered by a guy named Ken Penders. We are not going to go into the full details of Ken Penders right now because there is a lot. And it gets gross, and it involves Ken Penders discussing topics that I do not feel comfortable talking about on the stream. If you want to look up the specific details of him and some of the weird stuff he said over the years, have at. What you need to know for this purpose is that Ken Penders was instrumental in creating the world of Sonic the Hedgehog for Archie Comics. He fleshed out characters like Princess Sally, like Nicole, who was Princess Sally's robot assistant, the Acorn family, Mina the Mongoose, he used to be called Fang the Sniper, and I think they changed his name to Knack the Weasel. Rotor, my beautiful gay walrus friend, Rotor. All of these
Dieter, real quick,
yeah.
I gotta tell you this.
Yeah.
I just did a quick Google search, and as of April 9th, Penders claims that Sonic the Hedgehog 2, Sega and Paramount used his copyrighted work during the one part of this film. Just 2 days ago, he tweeted that out. So.
EJ, I'm building to that.
Oh, why that?
I'm building to that.
That reminds me of that time that Josh was on our show and Jay just completely stole his thunder about a Joker reveal.
Oh man, I feel bad, Dieter. I'm sorry. I'll go to timeout. Go for it.
I had screenshots saved about this.
It's okay, Dieter. I got your back.
Thank you. Don't bring him back till I'm done telling my story.
So glad to find out that it's not just me.
Nah, you can bring him back. But so Ken Penders was instrumental in creating these characters, and most importantly to him, Penders was entranced by the idea of echidna lore. Like, he built full family trees about Knuckles and his family with this intense, honestly, I felt at the time as a child, pretty creative lore. There are certainly people these days who have accused him of a little bit of derivative work, but who amongst us has not worn their influences on their sleeves? But then things went sour. Ken Penders left the book, but declared essentially, to my understanding, the reason I'm adding so many qualifiers to this is Ken Penders is a man who is very much on the internet, and I don't think our little show is going to bother him too much. But just in case it does, Ken, this is just my understanding and my interpretation of events. Allegedly, I encourage anyone who wants to know more about the story to go and look it up themselves. Great. So let's talk about why I don't like Ken Penders. Ken Penders left Archie Comics on very, very bad terms and indicated that he had ownership over, not Knuckles, of course, because Knuckles was owned by Sega, but all of the surrounding lore regarding Knuckles and his family. As a brief aside, and I'm sure the Bear knows this. I'm sure EJ knows this. Josh, I'm not sure how you're familiar with this. When a person writes comics, they write under a work for hire provision. Basically, what that means is the work that you create is owned by the person you are working for. This is why Marvel owns Spider-Man, DC owns Superman, and so on and so forth. Now, this is a contentious legal issue to the point where it is still being contested, I believe, up to the U.S. Supreme Court. Currently, the estates of Steve Ditko, Stan Lee, and I don't think Romita's estate is involved, but a lot of the old Marvel bullpen writers are suing Marvel for control of characters like Doctor Strange and Spider-Man because they insist that the work for hire situation was not spelled out at the time that these characters were being created in the 60s. The reason I bring this up is because as of right now, work for hire lawsuits regarding comic book characters have, to my knowledge, never been successful. Except once. Archie fumbled the ball so freaking hard with Ken Penders' lawsuit. They were only able to bring one document to court, a document that was determined by the court and certainly argued by Ken Penders' lawyers to be doctored. And so Archie lost in one lawsuit control of over 200 original characters created by Ken Penders. on what should have been a slam dunk for them. The result was Archie Comics having to completely reboot the Sonic the Hedgehog line. They did a full continuity reboot, and ultimately, Sega, it seems, was not especially happy with Archie's handling of the license, and the Sonic the Hedgehog comic got canceled around issue 100 and 235, I think it was. The canceling was so unceremonious that they just dropped the book and passed the license to IDW without publishing the final 3 or 4 issues. There were still outstanding solicits for these issues when the license passed to IDW. The reason I bring all this up is because Ken Penders on Twitter, as EJ helpfully pointed out, has been making a lot of rumbling about being told by fans of his that a character of Ken Penders, a character called Enerjack, may have been used in the movie. I am not overly familiar with Enerjack, so I don't want to opine on whether or not there is any infringement here. Certainly people who are more familiar with the issue seem to think that it's a load of nonsense, but Penders has kind of gone on a tear on Twitter recently, most famously saying, please bear with me while I pull this up. Let me get the exact wording on the tweet. EJ, do you have it? Here it is. Ken Penders tweeted on April 9th, "It occurs to me that Knuckles the Echidna could become a major player in my forthcoming graphic novel, The Lara Sue Chronicles." Lara Sue is a character that Ken Penders created. I believe it was Knuckles' daughter in an alternate future timeline. "People said I didn't own my stories, and look how that turned out. I own the whole Knuckles Archie Sonic comic book mythology." No, you don't. You fully don't own Knuckles, bud, but okay. So this is why earlier in the stream, I kind of scoffed at the idea of Paramount doing anything with Knuckles as an independent character, because Penders is famously litigious. He even if he won't sue, he will often make very loud pronouncements about his ownership of the Knuckles adjacent characters and will threaten suits. And I'm not sure how much Paramount wants to deal with that. I do also think that there probably was a meeting at some point when they were making Sonic the Hedgehog 2 where Sega just kind of slid into Paramount's DMs and was like, hey, by the way, just so you know, this guy is definitely going to come out of the woodwork.
Yep.
So that is me dropping some weird comics lore. Again, all of this is allegedly. I am not a lawyer. I am not opining on any laws or decisions that were made. I encourage you to look it up yourselves. Ken Penders, please don't be mad at us.
Well, and we as nerds are no stranger to things like this. Like we have something very similar in the MCU right now with the Hulk. Yeah. The Hulk film rights for the Hulk all still belong to Universal. Yep. So that's why we couldn't get a Planet Hulk movie. They had to hide it inside a Thor movie. Yeah. And that's why the She-Hulk television show can have Hulk as a main character if it needs to, because it's a miniseries, not a movie. So that's why everyone's like, do Incredible Hulk 2. You're never going to get that unless Disney buys the film rights back from Universal, because it just is. Marvel sold off all its properties. So yeah, that it sounds very similar.
It's not their fault.
I still can't believe. Like I had a lot of respect for Archie Comics until today.
Man,
I can't believe they dropped the ball that bad.
I could hear you kind of like the soul leave your body when I said they lost 200 individual characters.
And that explains why we got characters like Amy Rose and Shadow and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It makes a lot more sense now. See, because I mean, I grew up on it.
Now, I will
didn't
say,
stick with it,
timeline-wise, all of this happened way after Shadow and Amy were introduced. Shadow, Amy, and all those other characters have also been slotted into the comics over the years. But I do think, from a movie perspective at this point, unfortunately, even those characters that Ken Penders doesn't own, like he almost certainly doesn't own Sally, as far as I'm aware. I'm fairly certain he doesn't own Rotor. I'm fairly certain he doesn't own Bunny Rabat or that French fox that was like Pepe Le Pew, but legally distinct. I don't think he owns any of those, but they're so tightly ingrained with that mythology that I can see Paramount just kind of being like, you know what, it's not even worth the trouble. If just from saying that Knuckles has a dad and that echidnas have lore, we're getting this guy going off on Twitter, we definitely don't want to touch too much stuff. That is toxic.
And I think honestly they're going to stick to more of the video game characters because those guys are very much so side characters, right? The one character I would say that we're missing from like the original, I guess 5, is Amy Rose. Like, when is Sonic going to get a love interest, Amy Rose? And is it going to be something where, you know, he actually likes her, or is Amy Rose going to be one of those people that are going to like just chase him around as a fangirl, and Sonic's going to be like, ew, gross girl, cooties? So
that's the version I want. That's the version I want. I want the confused Sonic that doesn't know what to do with his feelings.
Yeah.
And he's constantly running away from Amy. That's what I want.
So let's just make it a whole Parks and Rec reunion and have Amy Poehler as the voice of Amy Rose.
I'm for it. I mean, I think it would be
and now I want to see Aubrey Plaza play Amy Rose.
Yeah, that's
just
funny you said
imagine that character design with that voice.
I was discussing that with my girlfriend Lexi actually, and we both agreed that we didn't really think Aubrey Plaza could play that role because of who Rose is. But I guess it would be really funny just because who Aubrey Plaza is to have her be that sort of like bubbly, sort of obsessed, like fawning over Sonic, falling all over herself. Like, I guess it would be funny as far
I mostly
as
say it. I mostly say it as a joke, but she is. I will say Aubrey Plaza is an exceptionally versatile actress.
Yeah,
but I do think her voice would not be right for that role.
Another voice actress I would throw into the possible Amy Rose, Monica Rial. Anime voice actress, played Bulma, plays Sue from My Hero Academia. I think she could pull that off. She plays a lot of those kind of poppy, upbeat characters, but also plays the dramatic characters, which that switch in dynamic when Amy gets mad at Sonic, we need that.
Nice, Brian. Nice. Leslie no pots my dreams, but I'm not mad about it.
Man,
Fair
Leslie
enough.
Knope is that voice whispering in the back of my head that says that I can be a better person. So, you know, there's that.
No, I think Amy Rose...
I would say, though... Oh, sorry, go.
No, I was just going to say, I think Amy Rose would be the next one we'd really want to see, right? Like, let's be honest. Out of all the other ones, I think Amy Rose would kind of top the list. Unless we have some Rogue the Bat stands, which you guys want Rogue for the Bat for completely different reasons.
It is Rouge that
Rouge.
It's up in the chat a little ways. Logan chimed in saying, and I forgive me, I should know her name, Logan.
Tara Strong is a legend.
That is the Jonah Hill I'm willing to die on.
Yeah, I love it.
Agree.
Stupid. Hell, stupid. Gretchen from You're the Worst as Rouge the Bat, and as much as I would love to see her or like
she's
Great
probably
Delisle,
kids appropriate,
maybe.
right?
Yeah, I don't like. So this is a genuinely true fact. I don't know if y'all know this. Rouge the Bat was created out of a dirty sketch from one of the animator's notebooks. She was never intended to be a real character suggestion. It was just the artist being thirsty and, you know.
And he looks at anamorphic animals all day.
I'd throw Katie Seagal into voicing Rouge the Bat.
I like that, actually. Yeah.
I mean,
I cannot see a world in which that character design flies on a multi-million-dollar movie. There's no way in hell.
The wardrobe would definitely have to change. That is for certain.
Just have to have a little bit more up here, just a little.
Or like a biker suit.
I know. I think she's got enough up there, EJ. I think that's the problem.
like a zipped up biker suit at all times that the wings just kind of fold in when she's on some sort of.
I can imagine anytime she has it low, like that Kenny G music starts, and Sonic just looks at her and goes, "If we really want to see Sonic go through puberty, I think that's."
Oh man, I just googled Rouge the Bat. That was a mistake, gentlemen.
Yeah, you did. No, we should warn you. No,
make sure the same shirt is on.
No.
Make sure the same shirt is on.
Oh no! What have I done?
Don't let the words
Nobody told me. Nobody.
We need to. What's the next topic, EJ? Because
I know, right? We need to set some ground rules about talking about Sonic.
Our next topic is we can start talking about our favorite games. We can get into the specific games now. Let's go ahead and dive into that.
Oh, Sonic Battle 2 on
Sonic
the GameCube
Battle 2. Okay.
specifically.
Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Adventure Battle. Yeah. First time we see Shadow in one of those games. The way they introduced him in that game was very impressive.
Yeah.
And it also gave us one of those total bangers from childhood, the Escape from the City.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And we got the Chow Garden where we got to go and
oh my god, how many hours did you sink into that? Because
it was so much fun. I sunk hours into that. I mean, other than the originals, because the originals were all I ever played when I was younger on my original Sega Genesis, but out of the newer stuff, Sonic Adventure Battle 2 and Sonic Team Racing on the PS3, I think probably another one of my favorites. Because it never really made sense that Sonic needed a car, but it's fun for everyone to be in a car, I guess.
I mean, yeah, who doesn't love kart racing? And yeah, I got a second Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. And that game, retrospectively, it's kind of edgelordy and silly.
Oh, yeah.
But it comes from a weirdly honest place. Like, Sonic Team was trying to create a story that would really move people. It was trying to create this kind of heart-wrenching story about a guy's search for identity and whether or not he can rise above what he was created to do. And I don't care how silly this is. The final story for Sonic Adventure 2 Battle with the scene from Gerald Robotnik, Eggman's grandfather, going mad, and the journal detailing his descent into madness, that fucked me up as a child. I would straight up, like, that was like a horror game to me. Like, I would not play that game when my parents weren't around. And it's an honest game, even if it's not necessarily one that's aged well. What I would say, though, if anyone who's watching this wants to get into Sonic, that's the guy.
So much.
If anyone here watching wants to get into Sonic, or you haven't picked up Sonic in a while and you don't know if it's still for you, check out Sonic Generations, which was released for the PS3, PC, and Xbox 360. Sonic Generations basically took and remixed levels for each game previous, including Sonic 06, and somehow made Sonic 06 good in retrospect, because that Final Crisis level is so good. It has a mix of gameplay, so if you want to get to know the feeling of like the 2D platforming, that's in there. It's tight, it's fun, and if you want to feel modern Sonic and do the 3D running, it's Sonic at its best. So it's a tour. It's like a flight of beer. It's just wonderful, and there's something in there for everyone.
There was also it came out shortly after Sonic Generations where they took old levels from Sonic 2. It's only a 2D scroller. I can't remember the name of it.
Mania. Sonic Mania.
That Sonic Mania.
Yeah.
I have it on my Xbox. That's how I introduced my kids to Sonic because it's
that's a great way to do it.
The originals.
Great way. Josh, before we get to me, because I do have, I'm still thinking mine over. I know you don't play as much Sonic as we do, but do you have a favorite Sonic game?
Yeah, so I'm gonna be kind of I don't know, maybe you guys don't think this is lame, but I'm actually ready for this one. So my favorite is Sonic 3. So I think that Sonic 3 is the best game of all time. For as far as Sonic goes, it came out in February of 1994. I want to say definitely 1994, but that was the year I was born, also. So sweet. My earliest memories of playing video games, like my very, very earliest memories, the most vivid ones are of the N64 because I was around 5 years old. But also, just before that, when I was 4, I know that I played a Sega Genesis, and I know even shortly after that I did as well, because very, very early in my life I had a pastor, my family's pastor, who they had a Sega, and I would go over their house.
Was it Dreamcast or Genesis?
So I want to say it was a Genesis. That's what I said earlier, and I'm pretty sure that's what it was. But I
Saturn, maybe. No problem.
I don't 1,000%.
It almost
know.
certainly wasn't.
My goodness!
The odds of it being a Saturn, no way.
Yeah.
Oh my god!
But anyways,
old when you said that, EJ.
I just think that the Sonic 3 game was super fun to play, and that like 16-bit kind of like classic 2D like look, this game just really, really nails it. And I enjoy that look because it's so funny to think about graphics and like where they've come. And there was a period, like as I was growing up and playing video games, where I was always like, oh, these graphics are awesome. It makes this old game suck. And these graphics are even better. It makes that old game suck. But now, like that I'm, super wise and adult and like, I'm a father and I've gained all this wisdom about life and how things truly are. I actually look back and I realize that like there's something really, really cool about the old games and how they look. And beyond just straight nostalgia, and Sonic 3 is full-on nostalgia for me. I really enjoy like the gameplay and just the mechanics that go into it, and it's a really nice change of pace, so to speak. So that is my pick.
It's a good pick, Josh. It's really not someone you're going to be made fun of.
That's straight up not lame at all. Sonic 3 is my favorite of that
Sonic
era.
3 is legit.
The other honorable mention, you guys will have to help me with this one. I forgot to Google it beforehand, but in the movie, we have the snowboard scene. I remember snowboarding with Sonic. I do not recall what game I was
probably playing. Adventure 2. Adventure 1, actually. Adventure 1.
Adventure.
Yeah.
And I remember
there was
awesome.
Now there was the air strikers, Sonic something or another that
Sonic Riders?
That. Yeah,
maybe it's Sonic Riders.
That was also a very.
Do you explicitly remember going down a hill on a slope, or do you remember? Okay, that's Sonic Adventure then, not Sonic.
Okay,
Adventure.
I specifically remember like whoosh, going down.
Yeah, and there's the giant snowballs chasing you.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you can play as Knuckles too, right? Or is that a different?
Yeah,
I feel like I snowboarded with both Knuckles and Sonic, but I could be misremembering.
You may have.
You might also be conflating Sonic 3 because there's a brief sequence of Sonic's
where Sonic is on snowboard
as well.
There is. Ice Cap Zone. Yeah, no, Josh, that's a really good choice. And I'm going to tell my favorite because you actually went with mine because I would just say of the classic era, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, very different.
Yes.
Basically they made that game, a little different. Basically, they made two games and they made one game and they couldn't fit on the same cartridge, so they made it into two separates. Now you can combine them. But yeah, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, really liked that. The the graphics were cool for the time. This was the first time, not the first time, but one of the first times where they kind of put a story into it that you could almost follow, even though there's no dialogue, which I thought was very good, where you saw the introduction of Knuckles. Definitely really liked that game. But I want to say that's my second favorite. So I'm going to announce my favorite in a very Dieter-esque way. I'm going to be borrowing there, so I hope you don't Ken Sanders me a little bit, Dieter. So Sonic has a very rich history, right? You have that classic era. We have the little awkward phrase where he kind of switches to 3D, right? Adventure 2, Adventure 1, all both perfectly good games. And then we have the absolute disaster that is Sonic 06, right? When it comes to just being a buggy game that was not ready. Very ambitious, like as far as the graphics and what they were trying to do with that game. That's what hurt so bad about that game. There was so much potential.
If they finished it, it'd have been great.
Exactly, right? Like there was so much potential in that game, but just didn't go through. So my personal favorite Sonic movie, and where not Sonic movie, but Sonic, yeah, I can say that too. Sonic movie and Sonic game, Sonic story is Sonic Unleashed. And I know that there are some detractors from that because of the Werehog series. But when you see that opening scene with Sonic where he zips through Eggman, goes to Eggman's plant, goes around that Super Sonic, chases him down, that is pure Sonic to me, right? And his idea
of just being movie to that game is dope. Yeah.
The gameplay was fantastic. The story is what didn't make sense to me. Just to me,
I like the story.
The whole Werehog thing. It's like, but this. Wait, what? Like, no, he's just a blue running fast guy. Like, yeah, but no, the gameplay was actually really good.
See,
the gameplay was really fun.
Didn't bother me because it was clear to me that this was the point. I'm going to talk about it in our video when we drop that. But basically, this was the point where Sonic Team decided to turn away from like the really high concept, grand, like almost space operas of the Dreamcast era with like Sonic Adventure and Sonic 06, and started being like, oh, that's right, we're a children's video game series, so we're gonna do like child-friendly things. And I don't love it, but I understand it.
But this one has a I'm gonna fight back with you on just a little bit on that. Sonic Unleashed, I get what you're saying, is a much better mix. Like Sonic Colors, yeah, sure, that's deep in that era. Sonic Lost World, sure. Sonic Generations, yeah. But Sonic Unleashed has the perfect mixture of drama and character building and character interactions, but limits the story just to Sonic, Chip, and really Tails, with Amy Rose kind of as a side, and really sees the Sonic as a hero more than any other game, in my opinion. Like when you just see his willingness to go help other people and his way of just standing up to bad guys all the time. There's also Jason Griffith's, in my opinion, best performance of Sonic. Like the way he was able to deliver the voice and kind of voice the character. I get where you're going for, Dieter, and I agree. That's when you see the turn. I think Sonic Unleashed is actually the perfect marriage of those two eras, in my opinion, where it's not too cheesy, but it's not super edgelordy dark. Even though you have the Werehog element, look at the story itself and see what they're talking about, see what the themes are. It's not nearly as juvenile as you would think it is. But go for it.
No. I see what you're coming from. For me, they were not two great tastes that taste great together. But I will say, in full credit to Sonic Unleashed, far and away the best level design of any Sonic game outside of Generations. All the locations that you go to that are based off of real world locations.
So much.
And the daytime levels are art. They are art. Full stop.
Cinema.
I did not love the nighttime levels. I thought they were a chore, basically. But the daytime levels, beautiful. I would absolutely go back and play those.
Brian says Sonic Unleashed is a good game. Thank you, my man. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
I didn't say it wasn't a good game.
I appreciate that.
Great taste that tastes great together.
I appreciate that. Not only that, the soundtrack was great. We talked about this before. Bowling for Soup was the main soundtrack. Endless Possibilities. Great song. When you saw the trail, it was excellent. Just perfectly encompassed what Sonic was to me, and that was my favorite Sonic.
And don't y'all remember when good bands made the soundtracks for all our nerdy content? Like, y'all remember that Hot Wheels movie that the whole soundtrack was Smash Mouth, and it wasn't even their old stuff. They wrote new stuff for the Hot Wheels movie. Like,
I can honestly say I have no clue what you're talking about.
Look it up.
Sounds dope.
That's definitely a 90s vibe.
The sun or something, but yeah. Very, very, very good. A bowling for soup.
You're referring to Hot Wheels World Race, released in 2003?
Yes, yes, I believe I am. Where I think Smash Mouth has like 4 songs on that soundtrack. They pretty much wrote the soundtrack, then they just filled in the rest.
I'm surprised. I'll jump in for a minute here while Dieter's looking at some stuff. I'm surprised this game didn't come up because this is what the movie was about.
I definitely
not about necessarily, but like obviously the poster was about this.
That is definitely the game I've spent the most time playing for
Sonic
sure.
2, yeah.
But as that was also the first Sonic game I ever played. But as Sonic evolved, like you said, the story got better, the graphics got better. So when you get up to like the 3D scroller where you still have some of those 2D elements, it was very impressive to me. Sonic 2 had my favorite level of all time, though, the casino level.
Dude,
the casino level.
There's casinos there's casino in Sonic 2 and Sonic 3. I think you're thinking about.
Oh yeah,
but
when you get to get Tails and Sonic and Sonic 2 in there. And it's I love Tails being in the game, period. But it just made it for me.
No, I agree with you. I mean, Sonic 2 was just like I played it recently. Was very much so a reinvention because Sonic 1 kind of showed you these are the basics. Sonic 2 definitely took it to another level. Like the game Sonic 2 is very creative.
Charge spin, right? That's
spin dash in Sonic 2. Yep.
So I have a question for you guys, actually. I'll present it to the room and let you guys fight over answering it, I suppose.
Oh, no.
There's one spoiler from the movie that we haven't talked about yet, and that is the old Supersonic himself. And I am curious as to when did Sonic first go Super Saiyan in the games? When was the first game that
Sonic
happened?
1?
It was Sonic 2.
Sonic 1. I think it was Sonic 1, wasn't it?
It was Sonic 2.
Wasn't
it?
I'm pretty sure it's Sonic 2 as well. And the only reason why I even have a remote idea is because I think I recall, now that I'm asking the question, I think I recall earlier today when I was watching some videos for some
Sonic
research.
2, darn it.
It's Sonic 2.
Yeah, I kind of remember hearing that. So Sonic 2. Yeah.
I did not know the answer to that question, but I will tell you that my favorite rendition of the Super Sonic. So, I love that you made the Goku thing. So back, I can't even remember what game was out at the time, but I do remember for all of our video game, especially handheld, Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga. Was a GBA game. It was one of the first ones where you got to play as both of them at the same time, team up kind of deal. Around the time that came out, a series premiered on Newgrounds.com. I don't know how many people remember that little gem. And it was called Super Mario Brothers Z. And they pretty much took a very loose story of Dragon Ball Z and crammed Sonic, Knuckles, Metal Sonic, Mario, Luigi, like all the different characters all into this story, and it was amazing. And he would go Super Saiyan like Goku and try to fight Metal Sonic. There's like a whole thing where I think Mario got the cape and the Tanuki ears and tail at once and had the hammer and was trying to fight everybody. It was amazing. So if you can find that, Super Mario Brothers Z, definitely check that out. That will fill you with nostalgia and also give you probably a better understanding than 3 full episodes of Dragon Ball Z. So because there's so much filler.
I'm having war flashbacks to Madness by Crinkles now. This is your fault. This is your fault.
Newgrounds was my jam back when I was shopping at Hot Topic for all my stuff, man.
Yeah, I mean,
I need to lay down.
Putting on my Metallica poster and rocking out to Simple Plan because I thought both of them were rock.
Wait, Metallica's not rock?
Is this the game you're talking about?
Yes, it's not a game. It's a series that came out.
It's
a around the it's a merger of the 2 universes. themed off of
Mario.
Dragon Ball Z. It's very good, very very well done.
I will say the only reason I actually know about Super Mario Brothers Z is because there's a video essayist on YouTube called Super Eye Patch Wolf, which if you've never checked out his stuff, you absolutely should. He's an Irish YouTuber who does video essays about things like wrestling, video games, and anime. And he does a wonderful deep dive into Sonic fandom and how creative Sonic fans can be in a way that a lot of other fandoms aren't. And that does, I mean, we kind of skirted around it with yelling at Josh to not look up Rouge on Google. Sonic fandom has like a true like dark underbelly of like some really weird stuff. But I think it is true, and I think this kind of goes back to bookending it with when the bear came in and was like, why is this the movie? What we had Tomb Raider, we had two Tomb Raiders, we had Hitman, we had Assassin's Creed, all these popular franchises.
Uncharted actually as well. Uncharted that just came out.
Yeah.
3 Mortal Kombat movies, 3 Tomb Raider movies, 2 Doom movies, the Need for Speed movie that no one really ever asked for, but
because we had Fast and the Furious, so why would we need that? Why is Sonic the one? Why is this the movie that we all of a sudden care about?
The franchise. Like, why is this the franchise they get right? Not saying it's not justified that they got it right, but why is this one the one that they got right?
I think part of it is, and I'm going to ape off of Eye Patch Wolf a little bit here. So like, this is not my original thoughts, but I think he makes a really good point. I think part of it is Sonic fans are just so passionate about the character for a variety of reasons, and also tend to be really artistic. Like, if you look at Super Mario Brothers Z, I've seen clips of it now, and not only is it just kind of cool, it's a truly like work of art. Like the fact that these people on Newgrounds were doing things with pixels from Sonic games and Mario games that just almost defied what should have been possible for pixels. And they are now becoming professionals, and they are now creating the things that they love. Sonic Mania is a game that is created by a guy who used to hang out in those kind of Newgrounds style forums. A guy called Christian Whitehead.
Yeah, Christian Whitehead.
Yeah.
Who is a tremendous technical talent. And I think it wouldn't surprise me if the combination of passion in front of the screen was mirrored by the passion behind the screen. Sonic just seems to bring things out in people in a way that a lot of these other video game franchises don't.
Well, I'll also say this, Dieter, and one thing that Sega's made a lot of mistakes, but one thing they embrace, they're not nearly as copyright taggy as other franchises. Like they really allow people to do like if we get a copyright strike on this one, Josh, I'd be surprised, because Sega is really free with that, because they realize that encouraging the fandom is a good way to get new fans. You know,
it's sort of, it's funny that you bring that up, the whole copyright strike thing, because it's like, it sort of reminds me of like the NBA. So I know this is like pretty off the beating path for the
I've never heard of this. What is this?
The National Basketball Association.
Never heard of it.
It's not too off brand. Sonic's an athlete. I mean, he can play several different sports.
Was he playing it in the Olympic Games or?
Right. So just to go off on like my little tangent here, right? I think that it's interesting because the NBA oftentimes, like on Facebook, Instagram, different social medias, will shut you down if you're posting highlights of the game. And that is just so asinine to me. I don't understand, because it's like you're selling this product, people are excited about it, they're posting it, and you're like, wait, whoa, we own that, you can't use that. And it's so goofy and backwards to me. And so I think that like being able to embrace what it is that you're doing, and if people are posting your content, they're posting it because they're excited about it, they're happy about it, right? Much like this Sonic movie. And to sort of bring it back to that, when you look at the reviews that have been happening, you have the critics that are like mid to low 60%, right? Not great, not awful, but really not great. but the audience score for both this movie and the previous one, it's
Super
near
high.
perfect. I mean, we're talking like 97,
90s.
98. Like, it is high. These were crowd pleaser movies. The audiences enjoyed this. And it goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where they made the original design. Everybody was like, ew, gross. I just threw up in my mouth and gonna have nightmares. And then they fixed it through and through. They've listened to the fans. The fans were like, we want more Sonic characters. They were like, word, sounds good. We'll give you some more Sonic characters. And if they continue to do that, I think that will benefit them. And I think other studios, Warner Bros. Sorry, got a little cough.
You need to get a rapid test for that there, bud?
Sure. Should really take notes. And, it's amazing what happens when you listen to your fandom and the people that are going to be buying tickets to go and watch your product. When you give them what they want, they buy tickets to go watch your product. It's incredible.
Yeah.
Or
they sign up for your streaming service for your product. Word is like, people have been asking for years for a Halo series ever since Forward Unto Dawn. The fan-made thing on YouTube was a thing. And we finally got one. Now, granted, not all the Halo fans can get an agreement on whether it's good or not, but that kind of goes along with every property nowadays. But they listened. They were like, you got to get Master Chief's armor right. You got to get the weapons right. You got to do this. You got to do this. And they listened to the majority of it. I mean, I've only seen, the first 2 episodes, but it seems like they're on the right track. Now, depending on how the series goes forward, I don't know. But like you said, they're listening. And maybe it's just because, like Dieter said, their Sonic fans are more passionate and they're more creative to the level of, it's like, we could make this better. And if you don't do us justice, we're going to go find the Newgrounds guys and we're going to get with them and we're going to get some of these art people and we're going to do it. And then you will have no reason to.
Right.
So, Yeah, no, I'll mention that. There's also multiple fan games of Sonic out there where they've gone back and fixed the bugs in Sonic 06 because Sega won't do it themselves.
Yeah.
And just say, hey,
There's
here
an
it is.
ongoing project to completely remaster Sonic 06 that's about 2/3 complete. And Sega's just kind of pretending it doesn't exist.
Yeah, Sega's they're not doing.
I don't know if you guys know the answer to this, but I have yet another question as the one who knows the least about Sonic in the room. With Pokemon, there are so many different ROMs, so many. You can go on 10,000 different websites and play the craziest, wackiest versions of Pokemon games. Does that exist for Sonic? I would imagine that it does.
Very much
have you guys heard anything about that? ROMs, weird hacks and cheats and things like that. Odd games. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
With my Pokemon reference.
I don't think that the stuff that you'll find for Sonic is as varied as what you'll find for Pokemon, but it's definitely out there. The trick with some of those ROMs, though, is you gotta just know that, again, like I said, there are some dark corners to the Sonic fandom.
Oh, lovely.
And there's a more creepy pasta than you could shake a stick at in the Sonic fandom, that sort of thing. But it's definitely out there. There's fan games, fan comics, fan art, fan fiction. If fans can think about how to create it, they have fan plushies, fan stencils. I don't know, fan cookies. It's out there.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you where I found it, but I know I remember seeing a ROM one time where someone took Adventure Battle 2 and turned it into the 2D 16-bit side scroller, every level. And of course you still had the objectives, but it was more of a 2D scroller kind of thing. Easy to do when you just take the art and everything from one game and turn it into another, but not without its challenges, I'm sure. And that's the kind of level of do you like side scroller Sonic, but you want to know what happened in this game? Here, it's amazing what these people can do.
Yeah, no, it's a great fandom, and the one thing that I'm really excited for, I know we're getting around to 2 hours, so we're probably going to wrap up pretty soon. The one thing I really wanted to say is that we're getting to a time now where Sonic has had his ups and downs, right? So he had his high part with the classic series and even into the adventure series. Then he dipped low when he had to go to the 3D format and go on other consoles after Sega went down, you know? And now I feel like Sonic is back in public consciousness, making better games again, becoming much more of a multimedia IP where he can have, like, he's going to come out with a Netflix series called Sonic Prime, which is supposed to be a multiverse series because everyone's doing the multiverse these days. I have no idea what multiverse Sonic is going to be, but we'll see.
Man, maybe I missed when that was some weird, obscure comic nerd shit.
No.
Now everybody's got a multiverse.
Dude, everyone's got a multiverse.
Yeah.
Everything, everywhere, all at once. I mean, it's a trend. But as soon as you said the new games, all I pictured was, give me a game based off of these movies that's open world like Grand Theft Auto, but you're Sonic. And the quests are to stop Robotnik, and then there's the side quests where they throw in the other characters. Like, hey, we have a energy spike over here. Oh, it's Tails, and he's up to something. I would love something like that.
So recently, I wanted
to open world, so.
Right.
That's what the thing is. Sonic Frontier is supposed to be. I mean, we had this boost gameplay for a while since Sonic Unleashed. So we're gonna see Sonic Frontiers can kind of redo the game for them and kind of have them on the new console. So that's going to be interesting. Knuckles is supposed to get a spinoff, as you said, Dieter. You're not quite sure that's going to happen, or what's your?
It depends on how litigious Penders is feeling and how much Paramount is willing to shell out to keep it going. Realistically, could a Knuckles thing happen on like Paramount Plus? Yeah, I think absolutely it could. I don't think that Paramount's lawyers are gonna fumble quite so much as Archie's did. So realistically, could a Knuckles thing happen? I think that's very possible. But it was a great segue into being able to talk about Ken Penders, and I did way too much research about the guy to not talk about him on the stream.
Yeah, and one thing I'll say, thank you all for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, go ahead on our YouTube channel. Go ahead and like this video, subscribe to it. We really do appreciate all you guys out there who support us. I had a really good time talking about my favorite Blur. I think he has some better days ahead of him. And it's funny to think about this, but Sonic has literally been around for over 30 years, going on 31 this year. So Sonic has surpassed the... I know, I just hurt the bear a little bit.
Man, Sonic's been around forever. Sonic is ancient. Man, let's just all talk about how old Sonic is. He's going to be 31. That's old. Ain't you, man? It's like dirt.
He looks great for eating nothing but chili dogs. I mean,
chili dogs.
That's the secret to life, the universe, and everything right there. It's chili dogs.
Yeah.
Real quick, do you guys have a favorite Sonic voice actor? I wanted to know if that was something that you guys cared about at all.
Not really. I don't have I know you have really strong opinions about them, which we talk about in the video.
Not really.
I actually had EJ co-write that portion for me, but yeah, I don't.
The Sonic fandom is not really good for taking change. Put it that way.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah. So speaking of that, guys, definitely be on the lookout for our Sonic video. Like I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, it will be coming out very, very soon. It is a deep-ish dive into Sonic, I guess. We tried to keep it somewhat short, but also
brief flyover of Sonic history. And
I can't wait to watch
it.
Yeah.
I tried to keep it under 30 minutes. We'll see if Josh can get it there. But yeah, if you're watching,
I stopped trying. So much.
If you're watching this, it is something that I primarily wrote with a little bit of co-writing assistance from EJ. Josh, of course, as always, is doing all the production work for us, the magnificent production work that Josh always does for us. And just a quick shout out, he runs this whole thing. We would be non-functional without him. But yes, please, it'll be on YouTube. Subscribe to be notified when it comes out, and check it out and give me your honest thoughts, because this is my first time really putting any kind of scripted content out into the world. And it was a very rewarding process, but it was also a process that I know I can improve on. and I would like to keep doing that sort of stuff. So.
Yeah, and make sure that you guys comment below on this video. Let us know what you think, some of the topics that we talked about. What did you like about the movie? What did you not like if you didn't see it? Are you excited to see it if you haven't seen it yet? Really just talk. Well, if you haven't seen it yet, hopefully we didn't ruin too much for you here. But like I said, we pretty much go over everything in the trailer. So hope you guys enjoy, and thanks for tuning in as always. Bear, before we officially sign out, could you go ahead and just let everybody know again where they can find you and your co-host? And
so me and my co-host Brian, our Beardy Brian guy, the Beard, we do a bi-weekly show. Also on the YouTubes, we try to do live streams every once in a while. Y'all have dropped in on a few of those. We really appreciate that. We just talk nerdy stuff. Not nearly like I said, I learn something every time I'm on y'all's show, and I'm just like, how do we not have this much research? Ours is way more just opinionated, I feel like. But that is what it is. We're on Facebook, Instagram. Check us out. We actually just launched our Patreon yesterday.
Awesome. Nice.
So, congratulations.
We're gonna try to get that up and running. The whole thing is it doesn't cost a lot to make the show, but it would be nice to not have to, spend that $50 every month out of my pocket. And everything over whatever we need every month is going to be donated to charity as well. We're also getting ready to launch our spring store, which is going to be really cool. Might try to get y'all
some merch,
nerdy merch. Yeah.
We have a guest star. We've got some guest stars.
Hey, Dumpling. Come here, baby. Oh. Yeah, my kids just decided to bust in. But yeah, just launched the spring store. We got an episode coming out Friday. I really hope you three especially check out, because I know
absolutely
that we talked about Matt Reeves as the Batman. Well, we did that over on our show. We would love to get y'all's input on that.
Yeah.
And our next episode, 2 weeks out from now, we're doing fan casting future villains of the MCU and anti-heroes. And we're going to have from Nerdbot Studios and Crimson Vision Studios, Colin K. Bass is going to be on the program to help us fan cast all the way out from, he's been Reverse Flash, he's been Judge Dredd, he's been Green Arrow, he's played like 3 different Power Rangers all on the Nerdbot side of things. And I think it's going to be real cool to have a Hollywood take. So
yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, really appreciate you guys. We
appreciate you, my guy,
much as possible. Over on our page as well, and we'll get y'all on some episodes hopefully soon. Now that I know y'all actually do your research, that's one of the things I kind of like to have, is more people doing the research coming to the show instead of me just going, all right, yeah, for 30 minutes I'm gonna tell you why this is my opinion on this.
Well, thanks as always. We appreciate having you, and
absolutely,
we'll talk to you again soon.
Definitely. Have a good night out there. See ya.
Awesome. Stay bearded and much love, as we like.
Let's go.
All right, EJ, take us out.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much for coming on tonight's of the Nerds Table. Love talking about Sega's Blue Blur with all you guys out there. Once again, we said this 80 times. Subscribe, like our channel, do all the things you're supposed to do on our Facebook page as well. And we will see you guys all very soon. Make sure to check out Dieter's video when it comes out. All right. Peace. Have a good night.
Thanks, everybody. Have a good night.